Yo, what is going on, Guardians, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 gameplay video. Hey, this video, I wanted to talk specifically about shotguns. And going into this, I just want you guys to keep an open mind here. I am not asking for nerfs. I'm not on a podium preaching that I think that they need to be taken down a notch. I just want to get that out of the way ahead of time. I am opening the floor up to discussion, and I'm going to present some thoughts and ideas. And it may sound like I'm on board with getting things nerfed. I'm not. That's not the direction I want to go with this. I just wanted to start a dialogue about shotguns in general. And I think that's a good thing to do. I think it's really important to sort of assess the sandbox, assess the meta, look at some data, draw from our experiences, and then start to raise some questions like, you know, could we refine this experience a little bit? What would that look like? Why is it the way that it is? So I actually personally, I rarely shotgun. I rarely use shotties. I tend to favor snipers and fusion rifles and sidearms. That's sort of what I enjoy doing. But, you know, every now and then I'll put on a shotgun and kind of, you know, just run around and buckshot things at point blank range. It's fun. It is. I'm not going to lie. Using a shotgun is really fun, especially on, you know, classes that are super mobile. Hunters. Today, I actually just decided, you know, what the heck, I'll throw on a parcel of Stardust. By the way, it's a lightweight frame, not a precision frame, so this is not even a totally meta shotgun as far as that goes. And my roll is okay. I mean, it's not fantastic. It's got full choke and accurized rounds on it, but it doesn't have a range masterwork. It's got a reload, which is sort of repetitive because I have a auto-loading holster on it and a threat detector. So it's sort of like, as far as parcel rolls go, it's like a 6 out of 10. But the thing is, it was so easy. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I mean, when I put on a shotgun, even a lightweight frame shotgun with a decent roll, you know, it is easier, and that is the truth of the matter. It is so much easier. I went on, you know, like 37 kill streak on my very first game of the day. I'm like, oh, I'll throw in a parcel, and I go on a 37 kill streak, and it was just like I'm cutting through Guardians like a knife through warm butter. And you know, I had a bunch of, you know, Weerans and Ghosts in the Nights and, you know, gold medals on the day. And it was fun. I really did enjoy myself. Shotguns are fun to use. But if we look at, you know, you've got Guardian.gg, you've got Destiny Tracker, and you can look at some mind-boggling statistics here. I know people are already like, oh, here we go again with the nerf the shotguns. Hey, I'm not saying nerf the shotties, but let's just look at some data here, all right? Keep an open mind here. All right, so as of yesterday, if we're tracking total kills in the Crucible yesterday, all right, 3.13% were snipers. Fusion rifles, 7.26%. You know, Yotun is pretty popular right now because it just dropped and people are excited to use it. And Telesto is a pretty, you know, standard part of the meta, 7.26%. More than double snipers, right? Grenade launchers are 3.91%. So you know, the ones that go in your special slot, not your power. Trace rifles, 3.19%. And, you know, some people consider bows to be special weapons, even though they take primary ammo. So let's lump them in there too. 2.41% of kills tracked as of yesterday were with bows. And if you add all of those things together, right? Snipers, fusion rifles, grenade launchers, trace rifles, and even throw in bows, that, you know, comes out to 19.9% of kills tracked yesterday in the Crucible. 19.9% were all of those weapon types combined, okay? Shotguns, 20.12%. 20.12%. That means sniper rifle kills, plus fusion rifle kills, plus grenade launcher kills, plus trace rifle kills, plus bow kills is less than just shotguns alone. So a fifth of the kills tracked in the Crucible yesterday were with shotguns. That's insane, guys. I mean, that spread is ridiculous, you know. And I know that shotguns are popular because of the low barrier to entry. They're easy. If you're a low skill player or a casual player, it's easier to do well with a shotgun than it is with literally any other weapon in the Crucible, even primaries. It's easier to do well with a shotgun at entry level than anything else by a landslide. They have a very low skill barrier to entry. So I get that they're going to be more popular, but holy crap, to have everything else in the special weapon slot plus bows added together to accumulate to fewer kills than shotguns by themselves, I think that's a point at which we might start to ask some questions, right? Because if variety is the spice of life, then Crucible is really bland right now and lacking flavor. It's like eating noodles with, olive oil drizzled on top every day. You know what I mean? Like, we're lacking some serious flavor here if these are the numbers that we're seeing in the Crucible. So I want to present a couple of things that we could talk about here. And again, keep an open mind. I'm not asking for nerfs. I'm just presenting a thought, presenting an idea, and I'm interested to see what you guys think about it. Okay? So with shotgun archetypes, you've got lightweights, you've got aggressive frame, you've got rapid fire frame, you've got slug shotties, and you have precision frames. Okay? Now, in my opinion, all of them, except for one archetype, are really well balanced. I think that lightweights, aggressives, rapid fire frames, and slugs, I think they're all really well balanced, in my personal opinion. And I mean, you can see the gameplay here. Like, I've got just a mediocre roll on a lightweight frame. It's not even the most popular, right? And it's doing work. Like, they are not weak. I'm not asking for shotties to be weak. I mean, I think lightweights are fine. And look at the work that this thing is putting in. It's doing some serious work here. But of the 20%, of the kills that shotguns are getting, 17% are Dust Rock Blues. You know what I'm saying? One shotgun, and that's the precision frame. And I'm going to present an idea here. What would happen to the game? What do you think would happen to the game if we took precision frames out? And we took the things that were precision frames and we fudged the numbers on them to make them fit in line and to change the archetype of it. So a Dust Rock Blues would then be, I don't know, either an aggressive frame or a lightweight frame. Probably an aggressive frame would make most sense, like a Somber Lead D. What if you took all of the precisions and you said, let's just take the precision frame out of the game and let's change the numbers a little bit and make them an aggressive frame or a lightweight frame, depending on which, what we wanted to do with each individual precision frame shotgun, mind benders, whatever it might be. What would you think that would do to the game if we took that frame out? I don't think, personal thought, let's not pretend for a second that doing so would really reduce shotgun popularity. They're still really easy to use. They're still really effective. The only thing that I could see this doing is it might change that that optimum one-hit kill range that something like a Dust Rock and a Mindbender can have. Sometimes you take a shot and you're like, even the user who uses a Dust Rock Blues and a Mindbenders regularly could look at those shots sometimes and be like, holy cow, I mapped that dude. You know what I mean? If all the buckshot hits. And I don't know. What do you think that would do to the game? Would that be a good change, or would that not be a good change? I don't know. Eliminating that archetype and converting them. The only reason I bring this idea up is because I think that one of the downsides to having the precision frame in there, I feel like it might be removing some choice options for the player. I think the player might be saying, I could use a sidearm, but I don't understand why I would. Because the precision frame shotguns that are running the Crucible right now, I mean, by the time they get in close enough range for my sidearm to start doing some serious damage, they're going to be able to close the gap and one bang me anyways before I can finish them off, or maybe we'll trade. It just doesn't seem to be a fair trade-off, especially with how tight and small these maps are. A lot of times a shotgunner just gets up on you before you have time to do any damage to them. Maybe you're juggling opponents, and they just have that I win button at close range, and I don't. So why would I use a sidearm, right? It takes away some of the power of decision for the player. It takes their power of decision away, their power of choice, and says, no, you really just need to run this. So the game's sort of making the decision for the player. So it's sort of eliminating the utility of even most fusion rifles if you don't have the right fusion. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I think an Aaron Till is a top tier gun. I think it's a top tier gun. I really do. But like everything else, the other fusions, especially the fast fire rate ones, like they're just not they're not used. Why? Because they're unreliable. The range at which they start to be effective is the range that a precision frame is gonna one-bang you. So they have no it's basically, the fast-firing fusion rifles are basically a precision frame shotgun that you have to charge up, and that just doesn't make sense. The player doesn't have any reason to use these things because the game is taking away the player's power of choice, and the game is making the decision for the player, and it's saying, hey player, if you want to, like, play well, look, 20% of the kills in the Crucible right now are shotguns, and the overwhelming majority, almost all of them, are with precision frames. So you probably don't want to run, I'm spaced on the name of it, like prolithium. It's a fusion rifle. It fires fast, believe me. Sorry, brain fart. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Should we consider that as an option or no? I don't know. What are your thoughts? I'm not. My mind isn't made up. I'm not saying this is what I think needs to happen. I'm just presenting the thought. Is that a valid, thing to consider? I don't know. What do you think about that? Next thing I want to talk about is map design. And this is a troublesome topic for me because no matter, if everyone agrees that map design is the leading factor for shotguns, then, you might say, okay, well, we just need to change the maps. Well, here's the reality. That's not happening, Best case scenario, if the maps are the leading contributor to shotgun usage and you want to see more variety, so let's say, for example, they say, okay, well, let's address that. Let's make some maps that are really conducive to, longer range engagements and have some more open spaces. Let's bring Widow's Court back. 1 or 2 maps that you're going to get, maybe, I don't know, maybe you get 1 or 2 maps that fit that sort of, niche. Maybe you get 1 or 2 maps in a new DLC. But you still have all these other maps. You're not just going to play those 2 maps. In fact, you're rarely going to get them. Every now and then it will change your experience, but Crucible as a whole will remain largely unchanged, even if you start to introduce some of these new maps. But let's consider map design as a factor. Currently, there's really only 1 map in the quick play rotation, I think, that is really conducive to like scout rifle play, sniper rifle play, and that is Equinox. But here's my honest opinion about Equinox, and I don't mean to be overly critical because this is somebody's hard work, and I understand that and I respect that. But here's my honest assessment of Equinox. I think that Equinox is a map that looks like a kid spilled their building blocks on a white tarp. That's what it looks like to me. And I understand that some people like Equinox because of the long-range engagements that you can have. And they say, oh, it's finally a big map. The truth is, it's not a big map. It's just another Destiny 2 map without walls. They just took the walls out of it. That's literally all they did. It's like, it's really, in terms of raw square footage, it's really not that much bigger than most Destiny 2 maps. There just aren't walls. You know what I mean? So, to me, Equinox is a major letdown to me. It's a big disappointment. Why? Because I came from Destiny 1, where we had maps like First Light, Bastion, Skyshock, Widow's Court, Cathedral of Dusk. Now, the thing about these maps is that they have individual spaces, buildings, complexes. You think about First Light, for example. On one side of the map, you've got, this sort of dome-shaped building. In that building, you've got, some cover, some extra walls, and you've got a hallway that leads to an underground tunnel system that takes you to this big central structure that has another outlet that takes you to another whole complex of buildings. And then you've got the whole where the B flag was. You've got a 3-story building there with its own infrastructure and insides, and then you've got crashed sort of derelict space stations, stuff all over the map. You've got another cave system off to the side. It's just got so much. You can literally go on a journey. You can have firefights in a number of different locations that feel like their own individual spaces. I could be in a gunfight and know, but just by the sounds I hear on the map, I can know that literally on the opposite side of the map in a totally different space with totally different geography, there's another gunfight happening way over there. And I can rotate around the map and go on a long journey and explore this place and have gunfights at all these different unique locations. Bastion was massive with really unique spaces, a big circular area with a mesa, like this big rock mesa that can look into the B area. You've got different buildings and structures and cave systems and underground tunnels to power ammo, heavy ammo at the time. I mean, it's just got so much going on. Sky Shock again, different buildings, structures, complexes, a whole beach area. I mean, just tons going on. Widow's Court. I mean, these maps were amazing. They were beautiful. They had all these unique areas. Equinox is laughable in comparison. Equinox is just a white blank slate without walls and some blocks dropped on it to me. And that, to me, I understand this is someone's hard work, but it is so uninventive to me, disappointingly uninventive to me. And so I am all for having bigger maps with bigger spaces and having these, you know, unique experiences all the way across the map. I'm all for that. Equinox is not the scratch that itch to me. I think we need to revisit some other map designs that, you know, we saw that approach to map design in Destiny 1. I'd like to see that in Destiny 2. I really would. And, you know, those weren't the only great maps with long sightlines. They don't necessarily just have to be big. I mean, you think of Floating Gardens, Rusted Lands, Blind Watch had amazing sniper lanes, Frontier, Memento even, and Cathedral of Dusk. All these maps had some wonderful spaces with longer range engagements, people using scout rifles, and scout rifles had a place in the sandbox, you know, and snipers did, and fusion rifles did. People had a reason to not run a shotgun all the time, and I think the maps are a factor. So, anyways, to me, Crucible is sort of losing its flavor, its spice, its variety. And I think that, you know, the meta being so narrow right now is one of the reasons for that. And the fact that shotguns are accounting for more kills across the board than all other special weapons combined, even if you add bows into the mix, which aren't a special weapon. All these things combined, they don't match up to shotgun usage. So, anyways, that's kind of the thoughts that I've got. That's sort of where I don't know where my mind's at these days. What do you think about this? Do you think that shotguns are an issue, or do you think that they need to be nerfed? Do you think they need to be addressed? Do you think they need to be looked at? What is the main factor? Why is it the way it is? You know, changing the maps isn't going to change that anytime soon. The Crucible will remain largely unchanged for it. But I don't know. It's a lot less work. I can tell you this, it's a lot less work to nerf precision frame shotguns than it is to meticulously playtest and buff everything else. You know what I mean? Like, that would just take so much time. What's the right answer here? I don't know what the right answer is, so I'm curious to know what you think. Please let me know in the comment section what you think. Thanks for watching the video and listening all the way to the end. If you did, I genuinely appreciate that. And hopefully we can continue to refine the experience that is Destiny 2. Be warm and well fed, my friends. Hope to catch you in the Crucible.